We're going to be talking about different ways that you can basically earn crypto and monetize in Web3. I think it's a common thing that people just think that it's magic internet money and there's not actually a way to actually build a business and actually make real money in a non-gambly sort of way, throwing money at a wall and hoping that a meme coin takes off. I really like businesses that do that. CG, if you want to give yourself an intro, and then I'll give myself an intro, and then we'll take it from there.
Thanks for having me here. I'm glad to to bring these back and do some of these, because I think one, it was just something that when meeting you kind of through Gary Club, and talking and just realizing, that so many people, I think one thing that people underestimate is they're kind of already doing some of these, or at least to a degree, maybe not some of the ones that we're talking today, but just really kind of leaning into activating all these things that are available to us to bring in different streams of income was kind of like eye-opening for me. So I'm excited to dive into some of these. But yeah, just real quick, I guess, for those that might not know me, just, got into crypto in 2012 through mining some Bitcoin, kind of went down the rabbit hole of other coins. Then in 2018, got into NFTs, went down that rabbit hole, and have just kind of been hooked in this little Web3 world of ours ever since. And, I think one of the biggest things that I've learned from this time is to keep an open mind and to explore and just see what's out there. And I think most importantly, that entails two different revenue streams, and just trying to, like you said, instead of not every cycle or what might be meta at the time is in everyone's wheelhouse. And instead of trying to play every meta, stick to like my strengths and then lean on these other passive and more reliable streams of income to get me through kind of those other, moments in the crypto cycles that I might not want to necessarily chase. So I think that's been the best thing for me, is that having these other revenue streams has allowed me to be more conscious about, chasing every single thing that kind of comes and being more selective in what I want to, jump into.
It doesn't matter if you're in Web 2 or Web 3. Multiple streams of income is so ridiculously important. Again, my name is Jonathan Dunkerley, and you can call me Dunk. And I started off as a creator, actually come from the film and television industry. And in 2020, there was, like so many other people, the world shut down. I had to figure it out. So I started creating content online, and I had to figure out how to monetize it quickly because I needed to pay bills. So I started creating content online. And the thing that I learned, I started in Web 2, and I was creating videos and stuff for my YouTube channel, marketing with email marketing. All these things actually do translate into Web3. And I think that there's this thing in people's mind where they think, oh, okay, Web3, it's a completely different thing. But when people say like Web 2.5, I feel like that's actually where we're at right now. And that's where a lot of people need to be earning and winning, because like, you say, okay, you're just going to go get this thing in Web3. My email list is so important. So like, I'm able to send it out and let people know today that we're doing this space because I sent it out to my email list, and certain people will show up, or people will see the replay, and then they'll engage in my content because of that email list. That's Web 2. Is it wrong because I'm using Web 2? No, but there's a lot of different monetization methods that could be utilized that were from Web 2 that should be used in Web3. For instance, the main topic of today is I wanted to talk about SocialPay, which SocialPay is part of Gary Club. If you don't know what Gary Club is, you can go grab a free account at joingaryclub.com. And what happens is you're able to monetize and create a creator coin there. Sort of like Friend Tech is a good comparison to what it is, where you are able to get a coin. And even if you don't use it for that, what happens when you monetize is you're going to be given access to a couple different monetization tools. The one that I really think anybody could just jump right on is one called SocialPay. And what it is it's a way for you to create payment forms, and you could charge in Solana or in Gary, which is the token for the platform, and you say, hey, I want to charge half a Solana for whatever the thing that is that I'm charging for. And what does that do? That means that you can immediately have commerce in crypto. You could start earning crypto. How am I supposed to earn it? Oh, am I supposed to do this random thing, this airdrop or whatever it is? I don't understand that. Well, if you're coming from Web 2, you know how to make a payment form. Think of it like PayPal. You can make a PayPal payment form and charge for something. It could be whatever you were already charging for in Web 2. It could be your course. It could be your, maybe it's a resource that you have. Like one thing that I charge for is I create AI stock footage, and I charge for that in crypto and in my rewards tokens. So it's like whatever you are already charging for. If you have an audience in Web3, they don't necessarily want to pull out a credit card and swipe, but they do want to buy. And if you give them the option, the ability to do that, then I feel like SocialPay is that gap in between saying, I am a Web 2 creator and I need a way to make money in Web 3. This is a way for you to charge for the same exact things that you are already charging for in Web 2 as you either migrate or give an option for your Web 3 audience.
Yeah, I think, that's part of it too, right? Because it's very much, like crypto, I mean, it's like what, 1% of the population has like a wallet. So it very much, just in our little like crypto Twitter bubble or just kind of just in crypto in general, it's very much like we take that mentality of like us, it's Web 2 versus Web 3, right? And so a little bit by design, you're like, you got to be one or the other, but it's the integration, like you kind of said, of working those into of how it just works for you. Like it doesn't have to be a this or that. Like it can be like a net, just kind of marrying it together to how it can best benefit you. I think just sometimes even subconsciously, right? Like we might have just been in that mindset because, it's kind of what we see here, right? It's like, this is Web 3, not Web 2. Like Web 2 is almost like shunned upon a little bit, right? But a lot of those strategies, like you're going to get into, and something you already mentioned, they still work, right? And there's a reason that they are effective, and you can be missing out by not implementing them. So I think it's definitely, it might be a little hard at first to, and I know I was guilty of that mindset too. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I think that we're all guilty a little bit of that mindset. I mean, I know that I am. I didn't understand crypto when I got into it. I bought a hat for 55 Bitcoin, not knowing what that was going to cost me down the road. Oh, well, that's a very expensive hat that I don't have anymore. But it's like, we don't know. So this is kind of like the Wild West, even though that example I just said is like over 10 years ago. A lot of stuff is changing. Nobody knows what's really going on in this, but there are marketers. There's marketers that come from Web 2. There's marketers that are just starting off in Web 3 and they've never experienced Web 2 before as far as actually being a business owner or somebody that's making money. And the thing is, like, I know that if I send out an email, for instance, I'm going to be able to make money in Web 2 or Web 3. And if I send an email out to my Web 3 audience and they have crypto in their wallet, they don't want to swipe a credit card. So I need to meet my audience where they're at. If they have crypto, they're going to spend crypto. If they have dollars, in the same way that somebody that is a Web 2 person is going to say, hey, spend this thing, swipe your credit card, they're going to feel very organic about doing that, and they're going to look at crypto like, eh. But then you could see the other side where somebody that wants to go and purchase something, one of your offers in crypto versus in dollars or swiping their credit card or their debit card to buy it, it's a different relationship where they're going to be able to do that. People will just like back away if it's an uncomfortable moment than facing something they don't understand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something, because I host space with artists. Not so much now. It seems everyone is very much, open, but a couple months ago, there was still and there still are a lot of chain maxis. But one of the things that I was preaching before it kind of came like the thing to do was, let your, I was like, what I would tell artists or what I would recommend, right? Like, I'm definitely not an expert, but I would say let your collectors be chain maxis, right? Like you put your stuff out there and you let them decide but it's the same concept, right? If you're providing a service, do you really care how you get paid or that you get paid, right? Like who cares what, if you're open to, crypto, like, does it matter if you get, Solana or USDC or you get a credit card swipe? Like if you're providing a service, it's just that you get paid, not how you get paid. And I think, that applies, right? As we continue to grow in this space and as hopefully crypto continues to grow as a payment form, you don't want to limit yourself, right? If you're providing a service, you're already by design, by whatever the service might be, you already have a smaller, you're already filtering it down to an audience. You don't want to further filter by something, as simple as maybe just setting up a different avenue for payment.
On that point, it makes me think of, I'm in my mid to late 30s right now. I remember growing up and seeing credit cards where you'd give them your credit card, they'd have a piece of paper, they put it in the machine, and then they'd take a carbon imprint of your credit card, and then they'd have to wait. It would take several days for that to go get processed. But now, then there was a point where you just swipe it into a computer, and next thing you know, money's taken out of your bank account immediately. And now that makes it much more convenient for the person. Things have changed. The way that people do business change. And now it's even more like you can have Venmo, PayPal, all these different ways to transfer money. And just because we have this now, I mean, we were using something completely different before, and it's evolved. And as business owners, we have to evolve with our audience. We have to make sure that we have things that will be able to serve our audience. And that's one thing with SocialPay, which is, again, part of Gary Club. You can go grab a Gary Club account free at joingaryclub.com, and you create a creator coin. Again, that's free. There is a blockchain gas fee. That's about it, just to create it, because it's the nature of anything. And that unlocks a whole bunch of different monetization methods. Again, I already mentioned SocialPay, which is included with it. But then you also could refer people to do the exact same thing. Like that link that I mentioned, that's an affiliate link. That's another monetization method. And I'm a big advocate for affiliate marketing personally. I love affiliate marketing. Whether it's in Web2, Web3, it doesn't really matter, because that is just another way to monetize your content. We can go create our creator coin. I want to focus on SocialPay, but when you create your creator coin, if people buy that coin, you do get a percentage of the buys and sells. So it's kind of like people trading you. So that's one monetization method. Then you could have affiliate marketing. So if you're a good affiliate marketer, you can go grow that SocialPay and Gary Club, and you want to recommend it, recommend your affiliate link. That's another monetization method. That's another way to make crypto. Then SocialPay, if you are somebody that's coming from Web2, or you just want to sell your product, maybe it's, I know somebody that sells dress, outlines or whatever, but they sell those, and they're just a PDF with a thing that they could download, and people are able to start making crypto and however they want. It doesn't really matter. You're able to do that and actually share that content more effectively. And then another way that you could do in this same one, also, if you create that creator coin, that's what I'm getting at. Just create the creator coin on there, and it unlocks all these different things. But you're able to mint a digital collectible, and a digital collectible, you know what that is? That's an NFT. So you could take those digital collectibles on platform and mint them, and it's basically an on platform. Create a mint page, and you can mint things. You could limit them. You could even use SocialPay to get people. Maybe they have to buy a whitelist, and then it adds them to a whitelist, so they could only mint if they bought this thing. I do that all the time. I say, hey, if you go buy this thing, it may seem like kind of like this odd random thing that doesn't really matter, but you could only go buy this other thing if you bought this thing, and you could do that all within that ecosystem. So I could create a SocialPay form, and then I'm able to say it adds them to something called a segment, and then I could just say, hey, if you want to mint, and then again, mint doesn't have to be free. You could charge, or you could say that it's a free mint and they just pay gas, whatever you like. That's another way that you can monetize in that ecosystem. And then another way that one that I wanted to mention, and this is a little bit more commonly known about in the DeFi space, but I feel like it's something that's commonly known about, but terribly misunderstood, and that's providing liquidity for a project. And you could go do that, like I'm talking about Gary Club. There's 3 different liquidity pools that are on Radium that you could provide for that. And there's like the Gary and Solana. There's one that I have. I have my own utility token with a pair with Gary because I'm building that economy. And so does Drive. And we both have liquidity pools there. And those are other ways that you could earn it. The whole point of providing liquidity is you become the market maker. So you make sure that when somebody says they want to buy one token, you're there to be the middleman and say, like, okay, if you give me Solana, I'll give you this other coin. And you get a reward. So look at it like a business that you are going in and you are providing a service. My service is me being the middleman, and I'm taking a transaction fee in the middle. That's a way to make money in crypto. You could do that in, like I said, there's 3 pools within the economy that I'm talking about, and there's an abundance of other pools that you could find all over the place. These are all really easy ways to monetize directly in this economy that I'm talking about, the Gary Club economy. And if you wanted to go and monetize like this, if you wanted to go take that same exact strategy with the liquidity pools and go find another one that works better for you, then that's great too. And that's how you can make money in Web3 and DeFi and make your crypto. But an easy way, day one, I have no idea I have no idea what I'm doing. How should I start? What I would do is I would go create something like go create your creator coin, go monetize at Gary Coin at joingaryclub.com, and go create a SocialPay form and either send it to your audience or promote it wherever you want. If you're already promoting online marketing products, then this is an easy thing to transition to, and you could take your audience and start selling in crypto, and you can start earning in crypto. And just so you know, with SocialPay, if you go and create a payment form with PayPal, for instance, PayPal charges a 3% transaction fee. So if you were going to go and just any other, like PayPal does that, if you go to Venmo as well, like all these different platforms, they charge you in order to do that because that's how they're making money. Like Visa, Master, all these companies are making money because they're charging a transaction fee, and it's usually about 3% average. And that means that if you sell $100, they're going to take $3. If you sell $100, they're going to take $3. One thing about SocialPay that I like is that they still do charge a transaction fee because it's a company that needs to make money, and that's how they make their money. But they charge 1.5, which is half as much as any like PayPal or any of those payment processors are going to be charging. So you're actually going to be saving at least, I mean, I know that fluctuation in currencies with currencies is going to keep more of that money in your pocket because it's half as much of the transaction fee that any of those other fiat platforms are charging. So cool. Just as a recap, I just wanted to go over the different ways that you can earn crypto within the Gary Club economy, and that was just create a creator coin. People could trade you. You could also offer utility for people that buy your creator coin. If you choose not to put any attention into this, that's up to you, but it's just another monetization method. But you do need to do that step in order to get access to things like SocialPay and creating mint pages. Between those two things, you're able to create an entire monetization system.
I still can't believe that it's 1.5% versus 3%.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it is. Like you're right. Most credit card companies, they're all 3. They're all 3, and that's a huge amount. When you think 1.5% added up over all of your transactions, that ends up being a huge amount of money that they're taking. I mean, the difference between 1.5 to 3. The companies do need to get paid. Keep that in mind. Companies need to get paid. So don't look at them going well, why are they charging 1.5%? Because they need to keep the lights on so they could provide a service that you could use to sell products to your audience so you could make money. They need to keep their lights on so you could make money. So the fact that it's half as much is actually huge. And if you look at there's other competitors out there that I've seen that have these payment forms. They're not as clean. They're not as easy to use, in my opinion. The ones that I've seen also charge 3%, which we're trying to get away from the banking system, right? So why mimic it? CG, did you have anything that you wanted to say? I cut you off, sorry.
No, I don't know why. I don't know how I missed that. I was not aware that it was 1.5 versus 3. But yeah, no, I think I also would echo that. Getting away from the banking system definitely is what brought me here. But one of the things. But it is funny, and it's just on a side thing. It's often people so many people are like, oh, when it talks about crypto and the banking, I was just actually having this conversation with someone the other day. They're like, oh, well, I don't crypto hasn't affected me at all. I don't use it for, I'm like, well, believe it or not, it has. I was like, well, think about 4 or 5 years ago. How much interest were you getting in your checking or savings account? Nothing, right? You were getting pennies maybe every couple, everything has gone up, whether we realize it or not, just the rewards from credit cards and all that. And I believe that part of that is to help, counteract with crypto, whether it's staking or even the crypto cards, what you get back. But over these past couple of years, those even the good percent, right? Not what they're taking at 3%, but what we actually get as far, whether you want to call it cash back or miles or, interest even in your checking and savings account has significantly increased as crypto has grown, and I stand by that. That's part of the reason why.
I'm 100% sure that you're right. I've noticed the change myself. Incentives to try and stay in that system, but I'll tell you, I don't want to get too far off topic today because we were talking about SocialPay. I'm going to be doing more of these spaces, and let me know in the comments if you like these. And if you want to make sure that you're notified when I do them, you could jump on my list. And also, I'm going to be talking a lot about my rewards program through there and reward people for coming to these spaces. But you can go to earndunk.com, and if you opt in there, I'll make sure that I keep you up to date about anything going on with these spaces or anything that I'm teaching in any of the tutorial videos that I put out. But one of the things that we're talking about, liquidity pools. On average, those liquidity pools I get, I mean, again, this is none of this financial advice. I don't know how to give financial advice. It's something that, I provide liquidity. I'm getting, depending on the pool, I have to watch it. It's not something that you just hit a button and then forget about it. But the amount that I get from those is when a bank is giving me like a fraction of a percentage a year, and then these liquidity pools for providing the same service that a bank is providing for you in fiat, and you're getting like 300% a year. I'm just saying, there's plenty of ways to earn money in crypto that when you cut the bank out of the system, that I think that's the key thing. That you provide the service that the bank provides, but then you keep most of the profit instead of the bank. So again, look at the liquidity pools and study those, because there is a lot of actual money in crypto and liquidity pools, because that's exactly what the entire ecosystem is built on. It's all built on these pools that, with the people like us, the people deciding if we want to do it. And now you could go and take part in the DeFi side and earn income, earn crypto, or as a creator, like I'm a creator. Like I'm a creator. I was a creator before people were calling themselves creator, because I work in the film and television industry. You probably have seen some of the things that I worked on. Maybe I don't even watch the stuff that I work on, but whatever. But you might have even seen that stuff. But I come from that industry, and I've been a creator. Like I've been creating my entire life ever since I started doing this stuff, and giving these different ways for creators that are coming in, or online marketers, whatever you want to call them, and giving them that stepping stone to say, hey, I'm a marketer over here. The industry has evolved into Web3 marketing, into crypto, and earning this way versus, like I was saying, at one point we were taking a credit card. We call them the crash kit now, like it's in case everything goes down, that's what you use. But we were taking carbon copies of credit cards, and now we have everything verified on the blockchain, and nothing could be falsified because it's actually on a public ledger. And nobody would have ever seen that 20, 30 years in the past, that this is where we'd be. But now we have that transition where somebody that is coming from that, like, hey, I'm just a regular internet marketer that's in Web 2. I don't know what to do next. Well, you know how to make a payment page. Well, you have an email list. Maybe, you're going to promote your email list. I have this thing. You could take what you already have, and you could transition it into Web3. I understand that not all your audience might be buying crypto, but now you could offer a PayPal form and then a crypto form if you want. Or maybe your audience is all crypto now and Web3. And now you have a way that you could charge them, because before they were saying, hey, I'm not going to transition, convert my money back into dollars, because maybe it's a tax thing. I don't know. But now you're making it easier, because one thing I learned about marketing, if there's the one thing, if you add extra steps to anything, it's going to make it harder for people to actually follow through. And more often, and I'm guilty of this too, if there's an issue and it's not worth, I'll say, I'll deal with this later. I never do. I don't ever come back to that page. I don't ever fill in that form. Make it as easy as possible, because once they hit a roadblock, they're going to turn around. If crypto is not the roadblock anymore, if a payment page, they have the crypto, and all what they need to do is hit the buy button, now it's not a problem anymore. They just hit the buy button, crypto stays in the ecosystem, and you've made your purchase, and you've made your customer happy. I'll pass the mic to you to see if there's anything you have to add.
Yeah, no. I just agreeing with, a lot of what you're saying. So yeah, nothing to add. I think you're just spot on.
No worries. I know that I can go down rant rabbit holes. But with SocialPay, I just feel like it's a way, whether you use another one. I know Helix is another competitor. How about this, CG? You're still learning about things like SocialPay and some of the features within Gary Club. What questions do you have that I might be able to answer for you?
I would say that's a good question. I think my biggest thing is, I think one of the hardest things, and maybe not, it's not so much a question, but it's probably just more, it's like before I even get to the questions, I'm thinking it's like, I think it's just knowing what's available to you. I think that was like the hardest thing was with me personally as not necessarily a creator, but someone who kind of intertwines in the creative community and just don't really have like a true like home, I guess, kind of in crypto. I'm a little bit of everything, like like a jack of all trades, master of none kind of is just seeing like what works for you and what's like, but part of that is also like knowing what's available, right? Like everyone comes to crypto and is aware that you can like, buy a PFP and flip it for like some crazy amount, right? And as you get into that, then you learn maybe about liquidity pools, or maybe you learn about like providing liquidity, or like being a lender or a borrower and working with leverage, or some of these other revenue streams that we're going to mention. But I think so, like, yeah. So again, not to get too distracted, but it wasn't so much a question as it's more as just like I'm just trying to learn what's available and then seeing like if it works for me. And then I think part of it too is also like being okay that not everything like maybe social pay like that we talked about today it isn't something that would work for you. But I think sooner or later, just kind of tuning in and as we continue to do these, like you're gonna find stuff that you're like, oh wow, I can like implement this and I can work it. So I don't know that I have like a question just yet. I'm just, constantly trying to learn what's out there so I can tailor it to what I'm trying to do here in this space.
Yeah, no worries, and that's why we're here today, because I had the feeling that not enough people know the tools that you can get just by hitting that monetize button in Gary Club, and I don't think as many people know what Gary Club is or how they could benefit from the resources that are in it. Because what it is at its core, it's a community of entrepreneurs and creators that are developing the tools internally to actually solve our own problems. And one of my problems was I need to charge for things in crypto. I don't know if anybody else has been there where they say, hey, just send me this crypto and I'll send you this thing, and then the thing doesn't actually come. It prevents people from being scammed in crypto because I could actually take a payment, deliver a product, and we have that 1.5%. That's because you're paying for the security of actually keeping your money safe and the delivery safe. So it's all within that ecosystem. You were talking about how all these things are coming out. It's the same sort of feeling that I had when we were transitioning from Web 1 to Web 2. I don't know how many people were around using the internet at that time, but when we were going from Web 1, it was like basically you'd go to a website and you just look at something and there was really no interaction beyond just looking at what was on the page. And when Web 2 started to come out, we had to pivot, but people were still using the internet. So it's the same exact system. It didn't completely erase everything, if that makes sense. There were still landing pages in Web 1. There were still all these things, but they went to the next level of evolution with version 2.0. And now that we're in 3, we're going to the next version of that, and we could take the things that worked in the previous version of the web and take them and apply them to version 3 to make the best of both worlds. That's kind of how I see it. And yeah, more questions will come. And again, if people have questions that they want me to like cover, even if it's not about Gary, don't get me wrong, I'm talking about Gary Club a lot, but I will happily talk about something else in these spaces if there's something that I feel would benefit the audience. So if you do have something like that, jump into my Discord at dunkmedia.club. And I'll make sure that I give you your first dunk so it unlocks all the different parts of the Discord. I know that wasn't a question, but was that helpful?
Yeah, no, I think it was. And I think, it's a great first one, a great introduction. And then, like I said, it will, hopefully now we'll be able to, we'll get like a graphic, or we'll be able to, advertise these a little bit more in advance too, and get it out there, because I think it's going to be very helpful. I think this was, a great first one for those that use it. And like you said, even if those that might not be familiar with what Gary Club is, then maybe just getting in there and then going from there as we continue to go down these, because obviously, Gary Club will be something that we bring up probably a decent amount in each of these kind of going forward because of just what it offers to, creators. So yeah, I think it was great. I'm definitely looking forward to continuing kind of doing these and also learning myself. So yeah, I'm just very excited as well.
I think that we'll fine tune it as we go the next couple weeks. Feel free to jump into my Discord again, dunkmedia.club. And then we were talking about Gary Club again, joingaryclub.com. And I'll point it out because it's a monetization method. Joingaryclub.com is an affiliate link for me. That's a monetization method. Rip me off, go create your own short link, go promote it. That's like my big hack of the day. Create short links. Because I could easily say go to joingaryclub.com, or I could tell you to go to my landing page at earndunk.com. And when you opt into that, now I have a direct line of communication through email. Both of those things are Web 2, Web 1 marketing systems. I'm basically promoting an affiliate link that I get paid in crypto, which gives me more liquidity, more things that I could do. Like we were talking about liquidity pools. I could get paid once and then go and 3x it in a liquidity pool if I find the right one. Again, not financial advice. Those are ways that you could play in Web3 that you can never play in Web 2. I want to have this space so I could just talk about the ways that you can monetize so you could find the right way for you. Like I'll be perfectly honest. There's some things in Gary Club, for instance, that I utilize more than others. SocialPay is one that I utilize all the time because I'm able to charge in Gary Club. And I also am able to charge in Dunk because I have my own utility token. But you get to do Solana or Gary, Solana or Gary alone, that's plenty to charge.
Yeah, I think it's a good first one. I actually have to run anyway, so
no stress.
It works for me. I should be better on the next one. Unfortunately, it's kind of how it works on this Monday. But no, I think, like I said, I think it was a great first one, and it'll be helpful to a lot of people. I know a lot of the stuff you kind of have planned, so I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and most of the videos, I'm a big tutorial person. I love making tutorials, and if you go, I post most of them here on X as well. So if you go to my profile, but I find that it's not as easy to find media content. It's not organized on X as it is on something like YouTube. So if you want to go and find my Web3 tutorials, you can go to youtube.com/@theblockchain. So the handle is @theblockchain. So youtube.com/@theblockchain in order to find the tutorials. And if there's a tutorial missing, go to my Discord, dunkmedia.club. Let me know it's missing, and I will do my best to fill in that gap. And then maybe we'll do a space on it. So utilize the resources that are already there and then come back with your questions. Again, thanks everybody for coming this week. We will plan on being here next week. If there's something you want us to go over next week, maybe it's a mint page, maybe it is something else like that, something else in the Gary Club economy on how to monetize your content, let us know. Jump into my Discord or go to the Gary Club Discord at gary.club/Discord to join that Discord. So, all right, I will see everybody in the next space. Peace out. Take care. Bye.